ASRock is making graphics cards. I am really excited about ASRock's entry into the graphics card world, and we're going to start off by looking at this piece of fuzz floating around. Hi, where did you come from? Go, find your family. We're going to start off by looking at the ASRock Phantom Gaming X RX 580 OC. A little bit of an OC on there. Not a crazy overclock, so we're going to go through the specs first, and then we're going to benchmark this. I decided to benchmark this at 1080p and 1440p because that is really where this card shines the most. You can max out just about any game and get very playable results at 1080 and 1440p. You can also play most games with a lot of the settings turned up to high or ultra at 4K as long as you turn down your filters. So, focusing on 1080 and 1440 with this card. Stay tuned for those benchmarks in just a minute. Temps and all that stuff will be also toward the end of the video. Right now we're going to go through the specs. So we have 8 gigabytes of GDDR5. It's 2000 megahertz. Effectively, because it's GDDR5, we're running at 8000 megahertz. The GPU clock is 1257. That's just the stock, but the boost clock goes up to 1380. So a little bit of an overclock over the regular version, and you can push this thing in software if you like. This is a 256-bit card, and we have 2,304 shader units on this. It's Polaris, it's the 580. You guys have seen it before. What is ASRock doing differently? Well, not an entirely huge amount, other than the fact that their cooling solution is pretty cool. So you've got your, your aluminum fins, right? Then you have a double ball bearing fan. You got 2 of those. They're impeller fans right on top, blowing down onto the components, keeping everything cool. They advertised 30 to 40% higher lifespan on that. Now, one thing that they did not overlook was the thermal paste. That's a really big deal, and a lot of people put like crappy thermal paste on their graphics cards. They've gone a step above by making sure they use high quality thermal paste on this. Now, for the aluminum alloy heatsink and the copper pipes, they've done something interesting. The heat pipes, they're using like a composite material that has grooves, internal grooves. Give you more surface area, also allow for a little bit of boost in cooling power. On the inside there. Interesting idea there. Put grooves on the inside. We're always, we're always needing more surface area. And you can't have the pipes go on forever, so grooves is a good idea. Dissipate that heat, guys. Now, I'm not going to cover all of the AMD specific technologies like Wattman and Radeon Chill and Relive, even though Relive is really cool and I like the interface actually better than what NVIDIA has when it comes to creating quick and easy saves of your gameplay footage. Dimensions. 278.81 by 126.78 by 41.91 millimeters. So there you have it. It requires one 8-pin power connector on the top. You got one dual link DVI right here. You've got an HDMI 2.0, and you have 3 DisplayPort 1.4s on the back. It's capable of 8K, 4K. It's capable, guys. Works with FreeSync and all that. So if you got a FreeSync monitor, you're good to go. I'm just really happy to see ASRock making graphics cards. All right, so we ran 4 games on this to see how it ran. First off, Doom at 1080p, 97 FPS. That's at OpenGL. If you run it on Vulkan, you're going to get 10 to 15 FPS on top of that. Doom at 1440p, ran at 63 FPS, never dropped below 56. All right, so we played Rise of the Tomb Raider and ran around in that game for a little while. 1080p, 69.22 FPS, never dropped below 30, but it did get there in one point. While we're running, it's the CAN benchmark. It taxes the hell out of it. But in general gameplay, it's pretty smooth at 1080p. At 1440, however, 42.88. And it did drop to 20.62 at one point when there was a lot of stuff going on. I would recommend playing this game at 1440p if you can, because it's beautiful, and turning down some of the filters, because we're running these games maxed out, right? This one, we turned the HBAO down to on because we were having some issues with the game. So just turn that down, turn your filters down to just TXAA or whatever, or don't use any of the filters at all, and then you're gonna have a nice experience at 1440p. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, we played that at 1440p and 1080p and got the same result like 2 or 3 times. So either that game is like horrendously optimized, which it is, or we had some sort of issue. But anyway, both of those came out around 45 FPS. I don't know why. Normally, it should be around 60 to 70 FPS at 1080p, but I'll mess with the drivers. We're using the latest beta drivers that are out as of this video. So who knows? Last but not least, we tried Valley, another canned benchmark there. And at 1080p at 55.3, never dropped below 26. At 1440p, it was 64.5, never dropped below 18.1. So there you have it. It is a pretty standard implementation of this card. But let's check the temps out. So it's on our test bench. We've been running for about 12 to 13 minutes right now. I want to note something. It's running right now, full power. About 44 decibels as far as the noise goes, but this is on a test bench, so it's not indicative of what it's going to be like in a case under your desk like this. You can't really see this, maybe you can. 190 watts. The entire system is pulling 190 watts. Not bad. So over here, running Valley at 1440p, and we are hovering at 65. It's actually just been stuck going between 64 and 65. For a while, so we can push this up around 70. I wouldn't want to get it much higher than 80, maybe shorten the life of your card, but this is completely cool. If you guys have any questions, throw them on the forum. We'll take a look at that, and also be sure to grab one of our mice, keyboards, mouse pads, shirts, mugs, cups, coasters, hats, baseball socks, patches, stickers, backpacks, bottle openers, ear warmers. I think I'm lying now. And grab a multi-tool. See you guys at Epic Pants and Tech Syndicate Forum. See you later.